Well, good morning and welcome to Mirador. And I've got trouble already with these two in tow. They get very sloppy and out of control sometimes. What I mean, sometimes, all the time. But here they are, back again, ready to have a good chat. And they just said this morning we're on strike. We're not talking. We're listening. So God only knows what we're going to do next. I have no idea.
Well, the idea
Did you say you had a problem with your toe? Sorry. Keith, is that what you said? You said you got these two in my toe. Well, you could just take us off your toe, I suppose, couldn't you?
Well, it's as good an analogy as any, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry, Phil, I cut across you there.
No, not at all. I'm used to that. Don't worry, Richard. Old habits die hard.
Old hobbits die hard because, of course, typically they live to well over 100 and then go west.
You look a bit like a hobbit at the moment, I have to say.
Well, yes, thank you. I have got hairy toes, so that's quite possible.
That's what Keith meant about toes. Yeah.
Yeah. Albeit I don't have a ring that makes me invisible. Sorry, that's probably a little.
That's one of the clumsiest thing I've ever heard you say. But let's leave rings out of it, shall we?
Yeah. Yes. In fact, my daughters would say, "Dad, it might make you invisible, but bloody hell, we smell you." So I've just got to live.
I'm sure they would say that.
And they do. I'll tell you an odd thing. Here's a very odd little detail of my life, which is I'm obviously transitioning into becoming a man. But secondly,
about time.
Yeah. Two of my daughters, quite separately, completely separately, have booked themselves to go to Bilbao in northern Spain at exactly the same time. Now, what
that
are the
is
chances?
Spooky.
It is a bit spooky, isn't it?
Yes.
And my middle daughter, bless her, she
that's Josie, isn't it?
Josie, yeah, she's travelled all over the place. And she seems quite happy traveling on her own. She's got a boyfriend, but she doesn't need him to travel with her. And she thought she'd go to the Guggenheim in Bilbao, which you may know, and Keith, you probably may know as well, the art museum there, which is an extraordinary building. And Casper's agreeing with me about that.
Yes, absolutely.
There's no way I can
getting involved this morning.
Yeah, no, but Bilbao has got a lovely old city centre. But then there is this Guggenheim, which is an extraordinary building. It's like a load of cubes put together in different angles, all in, I guess, what must be some kind of stainless steel, which you can visit. And it also has, oddly enough, it has the largest indoor market in the world.
You mean Bilbao, not the Guggenheim?
No. Bilbao has the largest indoor market in the world.
Yeah.
And I would, if you're ever in that, if you're ever just popping out, Phil, you get the 123 bus from where you live to Bilbao.
It's a very quick journey, and I've got a bus pass.
It has to be a quick journey because, of course, you've got to hold your breath because it's most of it's under the sea. No, but it's a fantastic place because it's right on the coast there. The seafood is fantastic. It's just, and I wanted to go and live there, when I first saw it, and then I thought, no, actually, I don't live here. Unlike Keith, I'm not a great wanderer. Keith, you have been a wanderer, haven't you, throughout your life?
I describe
Sorry,
myself as a gypsy, really.
Sorry, go ahead, tell me.
I say I describe myself as a gypsy, really. I mean, I have.
Most of my family were as well. Yes.
No. Yeah. Well, I wasn't a Romany.
No. Neither were my lot. My lot would really do your driveway and then charge you too much for it. That's what my lot would do.
Ah, yeah. Right. Yeah. Yes. Well, I wouldn't know how to do a roadway, but I wouldn't know how to charge.
Oh, come along! You charge us. We have to pay a huge amount of money to appear on your shows. You know that, don't you?
Yes. Exactly. And I spend it the moment I get it in case you want it back.
No.
It's a bit like Morecambe and Wise, really.
No, it is. He's got an account at the Black Horse, which he just adds. You know, I have to go in there and just settle it up every now and again. So,
no, bad man.
Yeah. Now, sorry. Before we start on, and we should talk about serious stuff, of course. Otherwise,
do we have to?
No. Our loyal viewer and his dog will get bored, as indeed my dog has, because he's just gone and sat in his basket in the corner. Two things today. Firstly, may I say congratulations to all those who are getting their A-level results today. And they might not get the grades they wanted, but they will, I've no doubt, make use of the grades that they have got to go through clearing if there's a problem, and make a good fist of their life. I'd just like to ask you two about this, because I know, Keith, you very bizarrely went to Canada to do your tertiary education. I think that's the phrase I'm looking for.
Yes, it sounds good.
Phil, you went to, so I'm not going to name the place unless you want to name it, but a university that was not your home university.
No, I name it away. I'm very proud of having gone to Durham, which is and was a collegiate.
Don't tell me old Durham town. It's Roger Whittaker, isn't it? Yeah.
It is Roger Whittaker. It's also the Pink Panther.
Yes, it is.
Durham.
Durham. And so I think all three of us went to places where, as a consequence of going there, we had to leave home.
Yeah, I couldn't wait.
Yeah, and I do think that I can understand the financial problems that 18, 19-year-olds may have. And a lot of them decide to stay at home. And there are lots of them in Lewis and Brighton, because it's less expensive. You can live with mum and dad. But I just wonder whether you get the full impact of what university life is. I don't know. I'd be interested to know your views on that. I think going away was, for me.
Well,
Sorry, go ahead, Phil.
I don't think you do get the full life.
No,
because you're going home like a kid.
Yeah.
The whole point of certainly being in a college or halls of residence at the other types of university, the non-collegiate types, it's all part of the experience.
Yes.
There's no comfort blanket.
No. And it can be quite tough, of course.
It can be very tough.
It certainly was in our time, I know.
Yeah. My first year was very tricky.
Yeah. I'm not sure my first 3 years were tricky, to be honest.
But you, unlike me, you worked very hard and obtained a first.
Well, let's not worry about that, Phil.
Well, you've told me before that certainly in the final year, nobody ever saw you because you were just in the library.
No. I was in the library every day. And I've probably told you, I'm sure I've told you this, Keith, that because my finals were 8 3-hour papers over 5 days. So I had 2 3-hour papers, 2 3-hour papers, 2 3-hour papers, and so on. That I couldn't think of anything else. And I was, I had it all on my little, do you remember what are they called? Those, where you play a cassette on a device, and I just wrote. I wrote down and then read out to myself the names of all the cases that were involved in any given area of law. Sounds pathetic now, doesn't it? And I would listen to that tape every day, not in the order in which the exams were going to happen, but simply in a random order. And when I came out of my finals, and there's a Russian, who's the Russian author who talks about this? That'll come to me in a moment. But I had a thing where once I'd finished my exams, I used to have to think, right, is there a precedent for this? Not should I do this? It was literally a legalese thing of saying, is there a precedent for this? Which was a bit.
And you've conducted your life ever since in that way, haven't you?
No, I then went to. I caught the train out of Oxford. I was mildly pissed because, in fact, I hadn't really drunk at all when I was an undergraduate. But then I caught the train from Oxford to Southampton, where my then squeeze lived. And I spent a week, 10 days sitting in a bed, eating salad, effectively, and saying, no, I don't fancy doing that. I'm not going to go out with your friends here from Southampton. Thank you very kindly, but I'm not going out with them. And I didn't. And I sat and watched the bloody test match. How good is that? And it cured me of that.
Watching a test match, eating salad. I can think of better things to do.
Well, it was a rice salad, so if that helps you at all. But
yes,
it was a slightly odd time in my younger life, I have to confess. But there we go.
You've mentioned the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao.
Yes. Oh, you've done some you're doing some research as we're talking, aren't you, you bastard?
Well,
excuse my language.
I just wanted to know who he was. Solomon Guggenheim, New York philanthropist and millionaire.
Yeah.
The original one is in New York, obviously. No, I was just wondering when he was alive, because Keith hasn't yet admitted to having interviewed him.
I think it was in the 40s. 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 40s.
Say that again, Keith.
In the 40s. 1940 or so.
No, Guggenheim.
He died in 1949.
The Guggenheim family were an incredibly rich family who gave a load of money to various arts foundations, including there's certainly a place in Oxford, but the Guggenheim in Bilbao, which as I said, I'd recommend you visiting.
Well, the fact that the Guggenheim in Bilbao is a set of cubes, reminds me of a piece of graffiti I once saw in a laboratory.
Tell us. Sorry.
A piece of graffiti. There's a delay, Richard, between us, and you're sort of fuzzy looking, but there we are.
No. You sound as if you're almost a canary, Phil. I don't know if that's right.
No, I know it's an odd feature of my vocal cords.
Yes. Well, they're a very odd feature of all of your organs.
Chords.
I accept that. I've seen a lot of them.
The old Knightsbridge Crown Court, which was round the back
behind Harrods, yep.
Behind Harrods, Hans Crescent used to be a hotel.
That's right.
The old swimming pool was Court 5. And on the 4th floor were the robing rooms for the barristers, as it was in those days, not these advocates we have today, and the police. And the toilets were shared.
What, men and women?
There was a constant battle between cops and barristers.
All right, cops and barristers, not okay.
Of graffitied jokes on the doors and the walls of the loos. Obviously, I can only speak about the gents. So, for example, there was one that the cops wrote, "Ethics to the legal profession is a county northeast of London."
Yes.
Which I thought was quite witty. Above the toilet roll, the cops had written, "Law degrees, please take one." But the one I really liked was an entirely neutral one, so I've no idea whether it was a copper or a barrister or anybody else. It was two cubes drawn on the wall, under which was written, "Balls to Picasso."
Yes, very good, very good.
True, haven't made it up.
No, well, you would never make things up, Phil.
No, I haven't got the imagination.
You certainly don't have that.
I need a precedent for everything I say and do, Richard.
Of course you do. You need a President Trump for everything you say and do.
Oh God, did you have to mention him?
Yeah. I did hear on the radio this morning, for all it's worth, just trying to drag things back to the legal world, which I think we are contractually obliged to do for Keith. Otherwise, he won't pay us our modest amount of money that he then takes back from us. The case of Simon Levy, who one
of his old victims has just been making a big fuss about how he was able to do it again.
Yeah, and
he was convicted this week, wasn't he, of 2 murders?
Well, he'd been convicted, I think, earlier this week, and then was sentenced yesterday to a full life term.
A whole life term, yeah.
Yeah. Just tell us, what does that mean?
It means you literally stay in prison for the rest of your life. You have no chance of parole. You can't apply for parole, and so it's literally for the rest of your life.
And so that's different from what people often refer to as a life sentence, where somebody may well get a life sentence for murder with a tariff, as they call it.
The tariff is set within the sentencing guidelines, and it's a minimum term. It's the earliest at which you can apply for parole.
And you don't necessarily get it at that stage.
No, you don't necessarily get it.
And that's up to the probation service and other people who are judging somebody. But a whole life is a whole life, isn't it? That's it. Boom.
It's a whole life term.
Yeah.
So Lucy Letby, that dreadful man who abused that young child they adopted.
Yes.
And so on. Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't looked it up.
The two Islamic nutters who killed that soldier in Woolwich.
Yes. Yes.
They both got whole life terms.
Yes. But I heard Sir Mark Rowley on the radio this morning. Don't know what he was doing on Radio 1, but anyway, he was there. It wasn't. Of course, it was Radio 4.
I think you've taken as some sort of humour drug this morning, because you've been on it from the minute you've appeared.
Thank you, Phil. You're very kind.
I mean, it's Keith and I are the listeners here. We just
shut up. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop talking then. I'll simply stop talking, Phil.
No, don't stop. Don't stop.
But he was being asked questions by whatever his name is, Nick Diddley Doodah on Radio 4. And he did all the things that he had to do, quite rightly, apologising about the upset caused to the victims and where they have died, the victims' families. He had to do that. Of course he had to do that. But then towards the end of the interview, and it's worth listening to if you wanted to listen to it on the Today programme, he he bit back, not in a bad way. He simply said, "We, the police," because he's the senior police officer in the country, isn't he, Phil?
He is.
He's the head of the Met Police, and if it hits the fan, it hits him before anybody else. And he said quite rightly, I think, we get all of this. We can take all of this, the police, but the CPS and the court system don't. And I think that's wrong, effectively, is what he was saying. And I think I agree with him entirely on that. I've got a family lawyer who is not only a friend of mine, but occasionally eats the meals that I cook for her. And she was telling me about a case that she's doing. So they're parallel family and crime proceedings. And was asking me, how has it taken this long? Because it is quite a serious case. How's it taken this long for this to get to the family court? And I had to say, well, that's what happens. And you know that, Phil. And I know that. And I think it is a disgrace that I don't blame the CPS, but they just have too much work, don't they?
They do have too much work. The court system is inadequate.
Yes.
COVID actually almost put it to death, really.
Yes.
The delays are horrendous. Just to keep things going, they've reopened the so-called Nightingale courts.
They have, I know, but I'm not quite sure where. I'm not sure where that's going to take them. I'll be honest with you.
No, well, hardly anywhere, because
no.
An actual living example is my local court in Chichester, which you and I know was a working, fully fledged Crown Court.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And then they closed it.
Yes.
and they ripped everything out. And then COVID hit, and the Nightingale courts were required. They weren't official Crown courts. They were named after Florence Nightingale.
Yes.
And so they reopened Chichester at massive expense, had to reinstall everything.
Yeah.
They had to refurbish the cells because they couldn't take custody prisoners.
That's right.
Sorry, that's a tautology. They couldn't take custodies.
Yep.
And it's now basically an overflow court for Guildford.
Well, this is the problem, isn't it, Phil? That somewhere like that can do some cases, but if it's a custody case, they won't be able to do it.
Well, the cells are operating now, but they weren't for ages.
No.
The now retired resident judge at Lewes, under which Chichester became part of the umbrella, she used to complain bitterly and openly about how there were no cells at Chichester.
Sorry, you remind me of a story, which is I may have told Keith this already, but it's worth a listen. I prosecuted a chap in Hove for lots of filthy, dirty kiddie porn. I'm not going to tell you all about that. Keith, don't laugh at kiddie porn, please. I do worry I worry about that fellow. I tell you.
Look at his hat. I mean,
yes, exactly. Yes.
He's obviously a pedo. I mean,
he's a wrong 'un. He's a wrong 'un. There's no question.
Absolutely.
And
the worst of baddest eggs.
Yeah. Sorry, I said I was in Brighton, and I was sitting outside the court there. And as you know, there's not a lot of space on that top floor in Hove. Sorry, in Brighton. And he came up and he had at least 2 older female relatives, which I thought was a bit unwise of him, given what he was about to plead to, which was all of this bump stuff. And so I wasn't going to move. And they started talking, and these 2 older women were saying, "Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? Because we thought we were going to be in Lewes, and now we're in Brighton. I don't know what's going on." And he said to them, beautifully, he said, "Don't worry," he said, "because that means that I'm not going to prison." They said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Because if I was going to go to prison, I would have been listed at Lewes Crown Court, because there is a tunnel underneath the court that goes all the way to Lewes Prison."
Brilliant.
So you don't have to actually come out at all. And they said, "Oh, that's great, isn't it?" And I thought, no.
I take it he was in prison, wasn't he?
He was in prison. And I of course I couldn't speak to him, but I did think, if there was such a bloody tunnel, I'd gladly use it when it's raining to get from my house to Lewes Crown Court, because it's a fair old distance down.
Well, there is a prison in the UK with a tunnel.
Of course there is.
To a courthouse.
Yeah, but that's in southeast. Yeah, southeast London, and it's not used because it's always flooded.
Yeah, hence Belmarsh. So they.
Yeah.
Keith, this is true. They created this tunnel because Belmarsh was meant to be. No, the Woolwich Crown Court was meant to be the top security court.
Exactly that.
At that time. And Belmarsh Prison, as I know directly, has a very, very secure Category A unit, which is a prison within a prison.
Yes, it is.
So they built the tunnel, but they forgot the name of where they were working, which is Belmarsh.
And it's just as damp. You know, you can, if you walk around the area, you just find yourself squelching because you're right on the Thames embankment there, aren't you?
Absolutely. Anyway, that's just a little aside.
No,
Another aside is long before you joined Westgate, Richard, when you were at King's Bench Walk,
when I was just a child.
when you were a mere tot.
Yes, I remember it.
Our clerks, then based in Lewes, of course, our clerks, the family clerk, very, very robust woman called Samaya.
Yes.
She had nobody to cover a judgment to be given in a family case in Brighton.
Tell me you didn't. Tell me you didn't.
Yes, I did. I volunteered to do it.
Silly bugger.
She told me how well paid it would be. And I was going to get, for a mere judgment taking, a sum that was worth a 4-day trial.
Yes.
In the criminal courts. That's the other great difference between the two genres.
Yes.
So I went to the Brighton Family Centre, got there. I was one of 3 other advocates, none of whom had been at the trial. It was a care case. So the only advocate in the room when the judge finally came in was the representative of the local authority.
Oh, God. Right.
The member of Chambers I was standing in for, who was doing something far more lucrative than taking her own judgment, was actually in the building, which rather confused me.
Yeah.
Anyway, my client, who I'd never met, I was introduced to him in a little conference room.
Yeah.
And I realised what the case was about, because he had admitted to abusing 2 of his children.
Right.
And he'd admitted this, and I walked in that room having discovered what it was all about. He had a mental health worker and a solicitor who were looking after him. So this bloke was at liberty. He'd admitted doing this, and yet he was being pampered as if he was some poor soul. And I'm sitting there thinking, mate, in my jurisdiction, you'd be doing 20 years.
Quite.
You wouldn't be sitting in this bloody room being pampered by a mental health worker and being represented by state money, state funds. You'd be doing 20 years. I couldn't believe it.
No.
And then, forget him, we go into court, and the judge comes in, and instead of giving a judgment, she says, I can't make up my mind. I can't make up my mind. I need further submissions from counsel. And there was only one advocate there.
That was you.
She was the local authority lady who had the first idea what the case was about.
No.
It's one of the few times that I could have fallen off my seat with fear.
No, quite. I can understand.
To her credit, this lady said, Your Honour, you probably don't recognise any of these people because none of them were at the trial, because we all thought you were giving a judgment. Oh no, I just can't make it. I just couldn't bloody believe it.
Oh,
can you imagine any of the Crown Court judges we've known coming up? I just can't make up my mind. I don't know how.
I've got a story which I may have told Keith before, because we're in that chatty mode today, aren't we? No, I'm not. All right, I'm going to stop talking then.
Don't be a tart.
Thank you. When I was a pupil, which, as you both know, and our one viewer and his dog are fully aware of, it means...
I think he's switched off now.
What, the dog? Of course he is. Yeah. which means that you're in your first year of attempting to be a barrister. And I was lucky enough to be told before the end of my pupillage that they were going to take me on. Perhaps not luckily in retrospect, but anyway, that's what happened. And so all my contemporaries from bar school, which is where you go to before that to do your bar finals, and Phil, you'll confirm that that was the way it was. Probably not for you, but anyway. And I thought, I'm going to take them all out for lunch. There's only 3 or 4 of us, but I thought, I'm going to take them out for lunch. I'm going to say thank you for your support, and I hope you get the same good news that I've had. And we went up to, and I've got to be careful how I say this, Lamb Conduit Street.
Lamb Conduit Street, and you went to the Sun and the Moon, did you?
Yes. And shortly before that, it's a pub, yeah. It wasn't the Sun, and I didn't have to have a Sun or indeed show my arse. And my then senior clerk had persuaded me, along with other members of Chambers, that what we really wanted was a great big brick mobile telephone, because they were just coming in. So I had this thing on the side next to me. You know, it was enormous.
I remember them.
And then it rang.
Ah.
And I thought, and you know, I was a few glasses in. I'll be honest with you. And so I answered it, and it was my senior clerk who said, "Your pupil supervisor, as I should call him now, who went on to become a High Court judge, has been taken ill, and he cannot take the judgment in a case before the president of the family division, the most senior judge in the family court."
It's every barrister's nightmare.
Could you phone him on this number? And I went, what's going on there? And he was a very elegant fellow. Queer as a coot, of course, became a High Court judge.
As they do.
Yeah. As they do. He said, "Dear boy, I'm afraid I was taken ill this morning, and I missed the following 3 points that I should have made to the president before he gives judgment." And so I was sitting there writing them down, you know, not very well. And I had to head off. Obviously, you don't have to wear robes in the family court, which is one advantage. But it meant I just staggered into the Royal Courts of Justice. And the president was about to come in to give his judgment. I said, "Something I need to say to," and he came in, and I said, 3 points. Mr. X wishes me to inform your lordship of. And I did do it. And he looked at me and he thought, "You, young man, are pissed." Because I was. You know, but it went okay. It was an extraordinarily terrifying experience, that.
Well, thankfully you were drunk, because
because it just went over my head.
It would have taken the trauma out of it.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, so I just thought, well, I did that okay, didn't I? Did I do that okay? But he did hear me, which was, you know, as you know, Phil, albeit I had rights of audience, because I was in my second 6, as they say.
Yeah.
a judge might just say, "No, sorry, I'm not going to listen to you because Mr. X has done the case, and I want to hear from him." To which I would have said, "Ah, God, because he ain't here, is he?" It was Phil. You cannot know how. You know the Royal Courts of Justice? Of course you do.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And I just remember walking across that main lobby.
Yeah.
As you come in from the Strand.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, not because of the drink, but because of fear. I thought I might just throw up because it is such a terrifying experience. And it wasn't just any bloody judge. It was as I said, it was the president of the family division. Anyway, there we go. Phil, I don't think we've got time for our subject this morning.
You do or you don't think?
I don't think so. No.
Well, I'm in.
You've got 15 minutes left.
Exactly. So I think we ought to just not immediately, because we've got plenty to talk about, if that's okay with you, Keith.
Sure.
But we could just leave it as a slight teaser for that dog with the one man, about what it is that we're going to be talking about next week, if that's okay with you. And Phil.
Do you mean give them a clue, or not even mention?
No. Why would you give anybody a clue what you're going to say? You know, that's like saying, members of the jury, I'm going to hand out a copy of my closing speech. You know, none of us do that, do we?
No, I didn't regard it as being that unacceptable. I thought you meant give them a clue, and then we do it in full next week. That's all.
Oh no, we will do. Tell me, Phil, what was the? You are, as we know, because you repeatedly tell us that you are the retired barrister.
Yes.
What do you consider to be your best closing speech to a jury? And I'm sorry, I'm landing that on you.
My best speech, and I know it because I was complimented upon it by a very old colleague of yours with whom I'd fallen out badly.
I know, Phil, if you've got it in writing there, we don't want to hear it. But anyway, you carry on.
No. No, it comes immediately to mind. It was a retrial of an alleged murder by arson.
The arsonist in the caravan and that sort of thing.
In the caravan.
Yep.
And I was prosecuted both times by your ex-colleague,
yes.
Well, I'm a good friend of yours, and we didn't get on at all.
You were two northern fellas who didn't get on very well, weren't you?
It was a horrible atmosphere in the robing room and in the courtroom.
Phil, I told you not to have the curry the night before.
Judge Brown did his best to keep the peace.
Yes, as he would do.
Sadly failed. So anyway, the bloke was acquitted. But to his great credit, your ex-colleague and friend said to me after the closing speech, he said, "That's one of the best speeches I've ever heard, Philip." Which took me completely aback. And I said, "That's very gracious of you, Alf."
Yeah, you haven't told us his name then, that's good. But coming from the source it is, that is a genuine compliment, isn't it?
Oh no, he meant it. He meant it. I mean,
yeah.
You know, having not got on with me or vice versa for nearly 2 trials, he had no need to say that, but he did.
No.
Which I thought was very honourable of him.
What's the name of that competition they have up north where people wrestle each other?
That's Cumbrian. That's Cumberland Wrestling.
Yeah, and I remember seeing the pair of you in the advocates' room in Lewes, when that case was going on and thinking, there's only one way to resolve this case, and that is that they just go outside and put their woolen togs on and wrestle each other.
Very much so.
A little bit like Women in Love or whatever it is by D.H. Lawrence, you know? But a sort of fatter version of it.
Yeah. I wasn't as fat then as I am now, but no, I get the point.
Well, you say that, Phil. Yeah.
I say a lot of things, Richard.
Well, I've learnt if you go on Duolingo, you can actually get to Jasper speak.
Casper
speak. And I've been learning what he's saying. And I have to say, Phil, he is utterly filthy.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
No, if he was a human, he'd be in prison now. Definitely.
No. Well, it's just jokes that he tells. Yes, but I don't think we've got time for our major topic, have we, Phil?
No, I agree with you. We'll have
Sadly.
to do that next week, but it will require you.
She's on with this theme of this morning because it's very interesting for people like me, a layman.
Yeah, well.
Well, did he call himself a layman?
Yeah, he just nodded off. It's fine. Don't you worry. Yeah.
He's been a layman all of his life.
Lazy man, perhaps.
He was he was in carnal knowledge, you know.
Yeah. No. When I was a
good teacher,
just ceased to be a student, I went up to Scotland to see my maiden aunt, Margaret, the only one of my father's siblings who was still alive. And I knocked on, and she looked after my grandparents, her parents, throughout her life. And she'd never had a sort of, well, I'll tell you about that in a minute, much of her life. But I knocked on the door and she said, "Richard, is that you?" I said, "Yes." She said, "You got a beard?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You know, that's a sign of a lazy man."
Yeah.
And then I may have told you this, Phil, before, and I may have told you, Keith, and I'm sorry for being repetitious, deviating, and hesitating. I said to her, look, Aunt Margaret, why don't we go down to the tavern, which was the local sort of pub equivalent, the tavern. I said, "Oh no, Richard, I wouldn't go there. I would know it's not my sort of place at all." And I said, "Well, I'll take you in there. We could just have a drink and then we'll come back." And she said, "Oh well, if you think so, we can do that. Then I'll do it. Then I'd let you get my coat." And it was about 30 yards away from where she lived. And I thought, gosh, how's she going to cope with this place? And I said, "Look, I think they've got a pool table." And she said, "Oh, right, okay, well, I'll give that a go then." Yeah. And we went into the pub, and the barman said, "Hello, Maggie." Because she was well known in there. Brilliant. And she was a naughty girl. But which of us aren't naughty girls, Phil?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Depends on our biological sex, of course, but yeah, we're certainly naughty.
Yes. And
it reminds me of one of my parrot jokes about the parrot that came from the brothel.
Oh no! I know exactly the joke you mean, because it's one of what's his name? He's sadly died now, hasn't he? The Yorkshire comedian writer. Anyway, tell us the joke.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a woman, a mother of two girls, who walks past a pet shop, those were the days, and sees this beautiful parrot in the window. And the price amazed her. It was just so low. Now, she knew that her girls had always wanted a parrot. So she went in and said, "That is a beautiful parrot. Is that really the price?" And the bloke said, "Yeah, lovely bird, but that is the real price because he's a bit of a handful."
Yeah.
They've just shut the local brothel down, and that's where he lived. He's intelligent and he's gobby. So just bear that in mind. Well, she said, sounds very interesting, paid the money, cage, canopy, gets the parrot home. Takes the canopy off, the parrot says, oh, nice new madam, nice new madam, nice new premises. So she thinks, oh God, and puts the canopy back on. Anyway, the girls come home from school and Mum says, "I've got a nice surprise for you, darlings. Look at this." Woof. And it's the parrot. And they go, "Wow, Mum." And the parrot goes, nice young girls, we'll do well. Put the canopy back on. Anyway, about 2 hours later, the husband comes back from work, sees the whatever it is with the canopy, says, "What's this, love?" "I'll show you." Lifts the canopy and the bird goes, "Hello, Richard, haven't seen you for a while."
Yes.
He's keeping asleep.
Yes,
People
of course
fall
he is.
asleep when I tell jokes. It's ridiculous.
Well, Phil, I think most of us do when you tell jokes.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
No, it's been part of my life for most of my life.
Well, and not just when you tell jokes. There's a whole range of ways that you attempt to entertain people. Dare I say, including your wife, and they tend to fall asleep during the course of it.
That is so true, Richard.
No, I'm sure. I'm. It's the brutal truth, and I'm not going to hide it from you, mate.
Hard but fair.
Well, that's not what she said about you. I can tell you.
No. Yeah. Soft and unfair. Yeah, quite so. Yeah. Right. Well, I'm going to disappear now.
Okay.
If that's okay. We've done 53 minutes.
Yes.
Is that okay with you, Keith?
That's fine. It was a very entertaining hour. My contribution was enormous.
I'm sorry, Keith, that we didn't do too much law today, but
these programs need digression like this. So it's a very nice session, if I may say so. Yes.
Thank you, Keith.
I'll
remember what we call you the two B's.
In Macbethian style, we'll meet again, we three, next Thursday.
Yes, indeed.
At 8:45.
Yes, please.
After sort of some problems, partly because of my illness and so on, but Mirador looked as if it was surging a bit, and it's going to settle down nicely now, because the favourite programs are all coming back slowly in a way that I can handle them. And this program, I think, is proof of the pudding.
Good.
Well, I think Phil is the pudding, and I might be the proof of that. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, here you are, the two B's. Certainly off piece that's entertaining and informative at the same time. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes with Harry Ashton. For the moment, to Pip.